Wilson. This lesson is going to be about the benefits of technology in the learning environment. My entire career has been technology based, so it's going to be very interesting to see the diversity of your answers compared to mine. That'll make sense in a bit. First of all, I'd like to split you into two teams, which you already are. Group 1, you're going to be known as Tokyo. Group 2, you're going to be known as New York. Don't worry about that just yet. It'll make sense later. And I'd like to just take a few minutes just to... Team 1, if you can give me what your idea of like benefits, pros of what technology can do for environment learning. And Group 2, if you can give me cons. Work as a team. Or
sorry?
Bad things about technology.
Benefits, so less paper.
Yeah,
what, in general, or?
Yeah, what did you say?
In general, yeah, whatever your personal opinions.
You can send it to other countries quickly.
Effective, you
Yeah.
think?
Pen and paper compared to tablet.
Yeah.
Complicated. So.
So,
Do you use it much in your
we'll just have a couple of minutes and then...
industry?
Yeah.
You do.
But quite often I'm on the shop floor with a notepad and a pen.
It's less to carry.
Or easy.
So if you
Yes.
Instead
And
of
it's cheaper
books
to
and
maintain.
that.
Yep.
to take with
Pen and
you.
paper is cheaper to maintain as
Yeah.
well, so maintenance
Okay.
costs. So
Yeah.
Easier
You don't
to,
need support.
complicated.
Yeah.
record.
Don't need support staff for pen and
Easy
paper.
to record,
We
easy
deal
to
with-
store.
Yep.
So
you say you need a
that's
support
overhead
worker.
costs.
Yeah.
So less storage.
I reckon you need a lot of time, you need training to use it.
So how's everybody doing? Okay,
Yeah, we've got quite a few.
excellent. Just another minute or so.
Need another minute?
Goes out of date very quickly. Superseded. Causing myself a run.
When you say complicated, how do you mean complicated?
Well, some people don't know how to use stuff. We introduced a system recently, there were 2 more buttons to press, people got confused.
Mm.
I'm not kidding.
I do.
It used to be this, that, now it's blah, 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 blah. Whoa!
Okay.
This is rubbish.
Also, it's bad for your health.
We're good?
Too much.
Yeah.
Okay, right, so I'm going to give you this laptop between you two. And then I'm going to give you this laptop between you two. Okay. So, what you have in front of you is a Google Doc, an online document that I created in advance, and I've shared it between my 2 personal accounts. That we can go into in further detail in a future lesson, but for now, basically everyone knows who Google are, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Are you aware they're more than just a search engine?
Yes.
They do a lot of extra products. Personally, I like to refer to them as Skynet. Any Terminator fans will appreciate the humour there. Okay, so basically, what you can see is I came up with a few examples of what I consider pros and cons, and we're all looking at exactly the same document. So, what we'll do is we'll go through each one. Vince, if you want to read the first pro for me.
Most people now have their own personal laptop, home computer, tablet or smartphone.
Yes. So, in comparison to your list,
Mm.
do you...
We're cons.
Oh,
Cons.
sorry. Start again. Sorry.
No, we don't have that one.
No?
No.
Okay. So,
I've got this.
what we can do is if you see at the bottom, you'll see just below the no need to prepare individual photocopies. What you can do is go to the end of the line, press enter.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
sorry, yep.
Say no to that.
Take into writing.
Enter. Okay. And then what you can do is you can type in
Yeah.
1 or 2 of your answers.
Okay, so we've
Got
got
this paper.
So we do the
this
same.
paper.
No.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay.
But if you watch,
Okay.
you'll see them typing.
Oh yeah. That's creepy.
So your documents are
That's
safe,
witchcraft.
and I need to worry about backups.
So just for
Easy
the
to
moment,
record?
just
Yeah,
add a
easy
couple
to
of your own.
record.
Not too many.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Put
perfect.
some, yep.
Excellent. Right, so Vince and Andrew,
Mhm.
you go down to the cons,
Mhm.
and you can do the same. Just go to the end of the line
Mhm.
after health and safety issues.
Expensive.
Used a big event.
So you've got your keyboard set to kiwi fingers.
Just pointed out
Yeah.
another disadvantage there. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So what I'm using here is an iPad, and I've got exactly the same document. So what we're essentially proving here is we're all working on the same document from multiple devices as a team. So what I'd like to do now, if we go back up to the pros, so as Heidi and Adam were pro, we'll hand it over to you guys, Andrew and Vince. What would you consider a con of most people now have their own personal laptop, home computer, tablet or smartphone? Can you think of any like major disadvantage?
Expense.
Yeah, it's expensive. Yeah, and
Okay.
it's
That's a good one.
too many devices for the same thing. Really.
Perfect. So if you want to type that in with a little
Expense.
Oh, no. You want us to go back up to? Oh, no, is that okay?
yeah, the idea
Cool.
was just below where most people now have.
So you want us
You
to?
want to put a, like
All right,
a
okay.
bad point against it.
Yeah.
No, isn't that?
Yeah. See, people need training.
You have to click on. You have to click on it. I think.
Yeah, just click.
Yeah, that's it.
Expensive.
Okay, perfect. One thing I would say personally is, if you think about it, you have a mobile smartphone on you at any time, mostly. If I told you I could do exactly the same thing on my smartphone as I can on this, and I can on that, and I can on that, what limitation would you say is the biggest limitation between the four devices?
Size, I would
Size
say.
of the display.
And would you say keyboard?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I've got used to the iPad sort of keyboard now, so
Okay.
I'll
But
probably
storage.
not know.
Storage, yeah.
Mm.
So everyone's aware of the cloud.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, iCloud, yeah.
Do you understand what cloud is?
Up in the sky.
Not really.
It creates
Okay.
rain.
Well, basically, what we're working on here is the cloud. Google have many servers around the world, and this particular document we are working on at this moment is stored in the cloud on a Google server. That means if we went into the other room, borrowed their laptop, we could log on with their email address or my email address, sorry, and have access to exactly the same document. So basically, what we're achieving here, if you think your group Tokyo, your group New York, I'm in London. So we have basically just created a virtual classroom. So this comes down to one of the, oops, forgot to include it, but one of the pros I came up with was you can have a team of multiple people working around the world all on the same project. This is a very basic example of what can be done, but hopefully you can see kind of the benefit.
So with the cloud, can that take as much storage?
Yep.
I presume. Yeah.
Yep, Google give you a ridiculous amount of personal storage. You'd have to be a hoarder to use it all up.
Do you have to pay for that? Is it, or do you just
No,
get
this is
it?
a good thing. For personal use, completely free. For education, completely free. For an enterprise, it's something like £9 a month. So for enterprises, yes, it can be quite expensive, but in
Probably not
education,
helpful.
the Google give you a basic free license to use it. So in this essence, you could be working with a school in anywhere else in the world, Tokyo and New York. Okay, so does anyone have any questions on that side?
How do you connect it? How do you do that?
Well, basically, you have to have an internet connection.
Yeah.
Again, that's a downside because
Do you have to have broadband or
you have
something
to
like
have
that?
broadband
Yeah.
or 4G connection on your
Yeah.
phone. Yeah. So obviously, if you lose connection, you would then think, "Oh, I've lost all my work." But Google actually provides something called Google Drive, which works in the same way if you think of Microsoft Office, where you work entirely offline. What will happen then is when you get your connection back, it will just sync to the cloud. So wherever you go, you have access. So in this respect, a student doesn't have to. I think that was one of your pros. Less things to carry.
Yeah.
Yep.
So a student can have one device, and all of their coursework is there. And if they lose their device, they can just log on to another one and carry on.
So do you have to have a like the app iCloud on your?
No, Gmail. You can just log on to your Google account. You have to have a Gmail account, but that's free. You can do it from any device with a web browser, not necessarily your own personal laptop. Okay. So, okay, what I'd like to do now, a quick assessment. So I'll just ask each person individually. Start with you, Vince. Can you see the benefits?
Yeah, I can see the benefits of this.
Could you give me just a quick explanation?
At work, we send out documents for review. Generally, you'll end up with a load of copies coming back, different people squiggled on it. If you had one copy, it's fairly easy to.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Again, it's another example of if you have a project and you want lots of students to work on that same project, you can create your template and then you can assign it to all your students. No handouts, no photocopying. They can then update it online and it's automatically back to the teacher who can mark it. So no excuses for I forgot my homework. It's all online. Andrew, same question?
Yeah, no, it is very useful. Yeah, I can use it for teaching in some lessons, but I wouldn't use it all the time.
No.
The only thing I'm worried about is like security,
Okay,
especially
That's a fair
especially when you've got students.
fair point.
You know,
Google's
who's
terms
responsible? Yeah.
Google's terms and conditions are very vague on that. It's a very good point. We'll have to cover that in another lesson.
Yeah.
That's a very in-depth subject. Okay, Adam?
Yeah, I can see a great value in corporate environment with preparing documents and everything, and with a number of people having had to feed into them. So we do that at Southern, which will be huge benefit.
Perfect. And finally, Heidi?
Yeah, I would say with regard to storage space and filing and things like that, that would be a benefit. And it's pretty simple to use. It's not, doesn't seem hard.
Okay. The final thing, we'll just cover something Andrew just mentioned, security. In a classroom, obviously a document like this, I'm very surprised, well, you're all adults, so no one's typed lots of swear words, or obviously you could just go bleh, and you could just type loads of stuff and just ruin the document. There are software options out there that will allow you to basically limit access. So if I could see that Adam started playing around on your own personal device, I could, on my screen, I could blank your screen with a message saying eyes forward, or I could disable your internet, or I could basically just take away your access rights. It comes back to the ground rules.
What's to stop one student just deleting everything?
Access rights. I've created this document. You could, if you wanted to, delete that document because it's in my name. But if I created the document and you were a student, I would send you the document, but with, or a copy of the document with read-only access. If it was an assignment, you would then have your assignment and you could then work on a separate document with your answers.
Okay.
Only you then have control of that, and me as a teacher. And then as soon as you've saved it, bang, comes back to me and I can evaluate and mark. And you will also have instant results. So the student, if they know they're expecting their grade to be marked at a certain time, they can keep an eye on their document and boom, there it is, no waiting for post. Okay, I think I've gone over my time actually. Any further questions?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, when do you think Skynet's going to become self-aware?
It's getting there. It won't be long before, they become aware and wipe out mankind, but that's another lesson for another day. So, thank you very much.